New filming location? Yes, and an actual like funly lit backdrop, maybe. We're trying a new thing. Let's see how it goes. Hello, welcome back. It has been quite some time. So let's get caught up. The last major video I made was shortly after we got back from our UK trip. And a lot of things have happened since then. I'm gonna go through rapid fire and hopefully with some video magic, there will be photos of the things that I don't have physically here with me to show off. So I have paused on working on my heirloom quilt cardigan, mostly because it was just not an easy to take with me project. Taking multiple colors around all summer while we were very busy was not conducive to the type of crafting I was doing. So that stayed in its hibernation land, and it's gonna be coming out because it is well and fully fall here now. We've had some extreme heat the last few months. Now it's crispy. It's just crunchy and chilly and nice. I'm happy, it's sweater weather, so I'm gonna be pulling that cardigan project back out now that I am going to be having a lot more time of downtime at home to be working on that. I have acquired some new stash that I haven't even updated into Ravelry. We're gonna video magic some pictures in here, and we're gonna get a little serious about the stash busting update. So it's Q4, it is October right now, the beginning of the end of the year. And stash busting for me for this year, I've been running a stash bust challenge in the CouleeCraft Discord channel, which has been a pure delight, and I have really, really loved it. Now, I haven't done as much of the community interactions and kind of engagement and gamifying of that as I would have liked, but the joy and fun and support that I've seen shown to me and to other community members has been great, and that is what the challenge was designed for. It was not designed to put a hard ban on purchasing new craft supplies, but it was designed to give you a really good reason to, once a quarter at minimum, go through your whole stash and assess what you have, what you want to make, what you can get rid of, let go of, share, trade, barter, whatever, and what you actually want to acquire. And in that sense, it has done me really, really well. There were, every quarter, we set exceptions for, here's what I am going to intentionally enhance my stash with, should the opportunity arise. So some community members have been planning to attend a fiber festival, so they said, okay, my quarter exemption is anything at this fiber festival. Others have done breed-specific or farm-specific fiber exemptions, which is super cool. Others have done colors, like, or things for gifts, categories, right? Like, our rules are really loose. Now, I'm going to rapid fire go through some of the yarn I have acquired in a minute, but before I do that, I want to give my update for my Q4 goals for this challenge and what I'm envisioning this challenge looking like moving forward for myself. I'm gonna keep the challenge running in the Discord for forever. I think it's really, really great, and I think it is really important to me as a designer and a craft person to focus on that sustainable aspect of creating, right? Using what we already have, using secondhand supplies, trading with people to enhance your own stash, swapping, things like that. You get it. And I've seen a lot of these type of events popping up here more and more. Last week, there was one just at another library near me. You may remember in the last vlog, I talked about going to the small town library that I live very close to, and how they had a summer-long craft supply swap table, and I took a bunch of stuff there, and I picked up just cute Bowl of Cherry by Mary Englebright buttons, which I'm still thinking about what to use those for. But, you know, small stash enhancement, large amount of stuff going out to other people so that they can use and enjoy. Now, where are we at currently? Well, I've acquired some stash over the summer. I am not upset at what I have acquired. I'm very, very happy with the items that I have purchased. I'm already using some of them, and I'm really looking forward to using the ones that I haven't used yet. But I am at a point where my stash has now exceeded the bounds of what I can comfortably store in my home studio. That doesn't mean that this is something that you should take as your own measure of stash size. This is all about me personally, right? Not being able to easily go through the supplies I have at hand is very stressful to me right now. I have other storage options besides just my studio. That's not saying like my craft supplies have to be confined to just this very, very small room in our very, very small house. But I want the majority of my stash to be in this space. This is a constraint I'm putting on myself. Because really, I get so much joy from being able to easily go through and imagine what projects I want to make, explore what I have on hand, and feel that creative inspiration from going through my stash. If I have to lug totes out of storage and take over a room temporarily in our, as I already said, small house, that doesn't feel fun to me. That's not enjoyable. I want to have a space where if I want to pull out my whole stash one afternoon in my little studio closet, I can. And then it's easy to either leave that sitting out for a bit or put it away fairly quickly. I have done other videos where I have taken my stash out and sorted it, and that feels really good. Now, I haven't acquired a massive amount of new yarn over the, since we chatted last, but it's enough that now I'm at max capacity. So what I'm doing for Q4 and beyond is I am not acquiring any new yarn. Purchasing. If somebody is giving me yarn, or a yarn company and I are collaborating for a design project, that is my only exemption. Everything else comes from stash. Now, I don't think hard bands like this work well for everyone. I have a lot of friends in the, fibery world who, we all joke about it, right? I'm not buying any more new yarn, and then you immediately go and buy something. I don't think this sort of all or nothing ultimatum is a healthy way to exist, or for anything, right? Like, we see that with diet culture, with consumption in general, right? We end up binging when we shouldn't. I am at a point, right, in my journey, in my relationship with the stuff I acquire, to really be real with myself and understand, like, the joy of purchasing is very real. The joy of acquiring things is very real. It's something that I love, like we're conditioned to love. I'm not having fun acquiring things anymore. So this ban doesn't feel like a punishment. This feels like a relief. This is like, okay, I'm setting this boundary, I'm setting this rule that no new purchases will result in more creativity, more joy, more exciting things for me. I love creative restraint. I already have some project ideas in mind that I want to tackle after I finish up a few things that are halfway like a cardigan. But I'm excited. Like, any of the projects that I've seen recently where I've been like, ooh, I really want to make that. Almost any of them I have stuff for, or I can adjust the pattern and make it work with my stash. I'm excited about that. I'm amped about that, and this feels good. A boundary or a constraint is going to be really beneficial to you when you're like, yes. Like when you feel that relief and that joy and that excitement with being like, okay, I can say no to this because I've set this boundary. I am never going to say that you should decide to go hardline like I am. If you want to, if this speaks to you, if you're excited about it, great. I always think we should be more conscious of what we consume and be more sustainable with the things that we purchase and bring into our creative lives or lives in general. She said after having purchased a sunlight lamp from China on Amazon. Right? There's always areas that you can improve. So for me, my art is something that brings me so much joy, and I want my stash to also bring me joy. Sorry, there's a little bird flying by my window. Do they have a nest? Also, we have a special guest here since we're distracted already. Henny, come here. Yeah, you act like you're in trouble. This is Henry. He's my good boy. You look older now, because you are older. And also Psyduck, who you saw before. Anyways, let's talk about the things that I have acquired. In June, I was in a suburb of Chicago and stumbled upon a yarn shop whose name for the life of me I can't remember right now. In Northbrook. I will put it here because it's just not going to happen right now. I can tell you that. So that shop, and they were lovely. They were amazing. It was a wonderful experience stopping in there, and I got a sweater quantity of yarn of a brand I'm not going to remember. Wow, this is just going so well. So I will put the picture of it here. It is a lovely, woolly, nice, I got a sweater quantity of it because I was like, this is a sweater. Like, I just looked at it and I'm like, of course you're a sweater. And it was in their clearance section, which doesn't really matter, but I was excited about that. So I got that, and initially when I purchased it, my mind was, okay, cabled sweater. Because I have not knit myself a cabled sweater yet. And I really, really, really want to. And I have several patterns in mind. And I was like, cabled sweater, absolutely. Now, while I was driving here this morning, out of nowhere in my mind, I was like, what about a pullover? What about a pullover with a little zippy right here and like the little half collar type situation, but then when it's unzipped, it folds down. There's probably a name for those. What about one of those with a few like rugby stripes across it? Oh, that would be so cute. So now I'm torn between having that yarn be the main color of kind of like a rugby, zippy, varsity type pullover thing, of which there's been a pattern that's been floating around my Pinterest for years that I'm now thinking about. That or cabled. Sound off in the comments, tell me what you think. I really, 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 really want both. But you maybe would want to know that I don't actually own any zippy, that's a lie. I own one that's acrylic, that's thrifted, very 70s vibes, zippy type pullover thing that's knit. But I do own several. Two very, very good. One is vintage. Huge men's all over cable white Aran sweater, and a women's one that my mother-in-law got me. Purchased it from Ireland and had it shipped, which was crazy. And it's beautiful and lovely, and I wear it all the time in the winter. So I have those two cabled garments that I wear all the time already. Now, the yarn that I acquired is this very golden, wheat-ish brown, like gluten-free, but you know, lovely color. And it's gonna look really cute on me. I like that color on me. It's kind of golden mustardy type color. And it's tweedy, and it would look so good as a cabled sweater. But now I'm like, okay, I already have two cabled sweaters in my wardrobe rotation. I'm trying to make things that I'm actually gonna wear. So big debate, right? Sound off in the comments or join the Discord. Let me know your thoughts. Next, after that, that was June, I was a very good girl. Good girl. It's arbitrary. I didn't enhance the stash at all until late July when I discovered a local to me yarn dyer. And I am now friends with her, which I'm very excited about. She's a very lovely human. Info up here and photo of the yarn I acquired. Magic of editing. I really was excited about this because it was cotton. Now I got this with the plan of making a summery tank top. Summer is over. I'm still gonna make the tank top. I have a pattern picked out. I'm excited about it and I will wear it all the time. If you've been around for a while, you will remember that I made a very, very cute yellow and yellow, two different color yellow, two-tone tank top with like a cute picot edging and little tie top shoulders. Obsessed with it, wore it so much this summer. I want to make a cotton similar version, but I want it to be a higher neckline and tied back. So I have a couple patterns picked out that I could use. I also am like, I could just make this up. So that is allocated for that and that's gonna happen. I will probably start that in February is my bet, just because it'll be ready for spring then and I'll be amped and I'll be ready to wear it while it's still 30 degrees out, but allegedly spring. Then I didn't get anything until we were in Seattle. Now, it was very fun. I was very excited to visit Seattle because I was there for work, which I was excited about, but also there are creative reuse stores and I had never been to any, and one of them just happened to be down the street from a place called the Fiber Gallery. I'll walk down the block and go there too. And so while my husband and I were exploring, did the creative reuse store, walked around, then discovered that there was a place on the corner called the Fixture Gallery. And I'm like, oh, am I crazy? Did I see a place called the Fixture Gallery and just read it as the Fiber Gallery? And there was this long moment where I was like, 100%, that is definitely what I did. And then I saw like the Fiber Gallery on the same side of the street as that. I'm like, what is this, gallery town? So went there, lovely shop. I was really excited because they had a pretty big selection of West Yorkshire spinners, which if you know me, I was on the hunt for when I was in the UK and really came up empty-handed with that. So I was super excited about that. I got a skein of West Yorkshire spinners, very cute, we love it. It's real, like, yummy, chonky colors. That sounds bizarre, but pictures, I'm excited about them. They're gonna be socks and probably scraps left over for a future scrappy project like this. Perfect segue. This I made several years ago. It's a crocheted sweater with knit cuffs and collar out of sock scrap yarn, and I adore it. I don't wear it nearly enough, so maybe something like this. I would love to do a skirt that's very scrappy, and I have a couple other projects in my brain akin to the denim jacket redo project, which I need to make a full tutorial for. So at the Creative Reuse store, you could buy yarn by the pound, and I came home with several skeins of sock yarn that I was really excited about. Some opal, and here's a photo of them, which brings us to this whip. That is so tangled because I just threw everything around. This is some of the yarn that I got at the Creative Reuse store in Seattle. I ended up coming home with 2 skeins of this, and it's making these delicious, stripy, really rustic-y, chunky socks. I have just gotten to where I want the heel for this one, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it for myself
or if I'm gonna give it to somebody, or what the deal is. I just make socks. I just make them, and either they get claimed by somebody before I finish the foot, and then I can make it the correct foot size, or they don't, and I just make them in my size and hope that whoever I decide to give them to has the same size as me. These in particular, their gauge is a little bit bigger because the yarn itself is thicker, despite me using my normal size needles and my normal pattern that I use for socks, my own in my brain vanilla sock pattern. They're coming out a little wider, which I love. I wear 2 pairs of socks all winter. I wear a cotton or silk underlay or linen. I have some linen socks, whatever. A plant fiber underneath, and then my wool socks over, because my feet get cold and I need that double layer. So this might be good for double layering because they're a little bit wider than my normal socks. But I do also fear that they're gonna end up maybe a kind of sloppy fit in the heel. But I'm gonna see. I'll probably keep these just because I know I'm not gonna be 100% happy with fit due to the gauge being a little bit larger than my typical and not adjusting the pattern at all. I could have adjusted the stitch count and made it fit a little bit tighter, more streamlined, but I didn't because I was like, no, that's too much brain power for me right now. So these have been my purse socks. I also almost always carry a pair of socks that I'm working on in my purse at all times so that I have a project to work on when there's surprise downtime. I could not recommend this more for anybody who knits, even if you don't touch it for 6 months. It's just socks. If you have the pattern memorized or put the pattern in your purse with it, it's just socks. You pick up and knit a little bit, you can set them down. Easy, McPeasy, we love it. As soon as I got back from Seattle, we went to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. And in a normal year, I would have done a whole vlog about it, but this year was not a normal year. I have video. Maybe I'll cut it in here for a mini vlog. Maybe I'll make a separate video. Future Carolyn is the only one who knows, so let's find out what she does, shall we? While we were there, we were scoping for farms that we can buy sheep from. I am going to get a flock, a very small flock, and we want smaller breeds. We're looking at Shetland and Clun Forest to begin with. There were a lot of really excellent ones. There's one woman who was trying to convince me to get Finn sheep, which again, I'm into them, I'm interested. We want smaller breeds to begin with, just because we want to handle them a lot, and we want to keep them on a smaller rotational grazing. There is something to be said about a smaller sheep with a hardier wool that I just love. Shetland is one of my favorite wools to work with. These sleeves are Shetland cuff, that blue down there. I love working with it. It's a toothy yarn. It's great for color work. And the breeds that we're looking at have those qualities. They're also really easy lambers. Like, they will go have their babies, have minimal problems, and they'll do it on pasture, which is a trait I admire. I want hardiness, friendliness, size, and then the rustic quality of wool. I also love breeds that have color variation, which Clun Forest and Shetland both do. I know that might not be the most popular thing, but I plan to keep a lot of the wool that I process from them natural. So ones that have color variation in the breed itself and in their various fleeces is really exciting to me. I don't necessarily just want a large fiber flock of all white sheep. Personal preference. I can do what I want. So we went to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. We looked at some sheep, and I made it my personal goal to find some Clun Forest, 100% Clun Forest wool to work with. I wanted to knit with it, touch it, squeeze it. I was going to settle for fiber as well. I was going to be happy with if I just got some fiber to spin with, but I got to 2 delicious skeins of this 100% Clune Forest from a farm that's not terribly far from where I live, which was really cool. I got to talk to the shepherd for quite a while, and they gave me some info about who had some Clune Forest ewes for sale, who may have some in the spring, and we had a great talk. They were showing me they had one Clune Forest ewe, and they said that she was just one of their favorite sheep. She was so friendly, so sweet, excellent mother, like all the qualities I was excited about. They confirmed that their one ewe had, and that they really liked those things about her. So I was feeling good. I was feeling excited about it, and I have been loving working with this. This is a lace scarf pattern that I got from Salt and Stone Knits. I believe it's the Amir's Foot. I'm gonna put it up here. This isn't me forgetting the name. This is me just truly partially forgetting and not knowing. Not knowing how to say it. So this is one skein right here of this DK weight. So it goes to right where my finger is there. That is one skein. I finished that up, and then I added the second skein, and I have been taking this with me on my various travels. I took it with me when I was in San Diego, and on the plane, not in the hotel room at night. I just passed out after work. But this pattern served me so well in all my travels. It was not boring. It was memorizable. So I had it memorized almost before I left, really. And so fun to work. Like, I can read it really well. I can read the lace and I know where I'm at, so it's not a problem to pick up and drop down. And it's interesting. Like, it's interesting, but it's not complicated and it's not fiddly. There are these stitches here, which I don't know if you can see in the middle there. They're these twisted stitches that are really, really fun to do, and they make you feel very accomplished when you do a little sneaky trick. Obviously, no spoilers for the pattern. But when you do those stitches, I don't know, they just itch something in my brain just right. And then there's a lot of interesting things to do on the back side of the work too. Sometimes the purl rows, right, like that can be boring in a lace pattern because you just purl back across. But there are at least enough places where you actually have to knit or purl through the back loop or do some decreases on the wrong side of the pattern, which keeps it interesting for me. It's a not massive repeat. I totally was able to memorize it not long after starting it, and I'm very happy with it. I have hit a point now where like maybe that's where, right there where that yarn tail is where the second skein, which is this one that I've thrown on the floor, that's where that's attached. So I'm maybe like 6 inches in to skein 2, and I know I want to finish both skeins so it's a nice long scarf, but I have hit a wall. This is like great to take on the go places, and I have not been since returning. Thank goodness I have not been on the go after being so busy for so many months and doing so much travel. It's been really nice to be at home, but this has not been something I've super wanted to reach for in the evenings. I've been keeping my purse sock like on the kitchen table or in the kitchen because I've been doing a lot of working from home in the kitchen. So when I've had down moments, I've gone and knit a couple rounds, or when I'm chatting with the kids after school or whatever, that's what I reach for and I keep it really close. But the scarf, like, I'm gonna be taking it with me as I'm going places, and I have another travel coming up soon, but I don't know, maybe it was because I worked on it so much for such an amount of time. I don't reach for it as much. Some other things of note, one in particular, this little crossbody kitty bag. is a collaboration with Road Trip Sock Yarns. And she, Allie, the chief dyer and excellent human behind Road Trip Sock Yarns, she sent me a bunch of her cat-themed yarns so that I could design a few different cat-themed projects. And with those, she could develop some kits, or we're still formulating those plans. And she has been so kind and patient. Can we get a round of applause for Allie being so kind and patient? Because, like, I have had this done for a minute, and I have not written up the pattern yet. I am planning to be doing that this week, which is, it's Wednesday. So, 2 more days. And I'm excited about it. It's so cute, and I have one other design in mind for this series. My 8-year-old creative director has given me some sketches for a few other designs as well. Like, look at this. It's so cute. As per usual, that I seem to have this ongoing problem. I struggle making bags large enough to actually hold the items that they're supposed to hold. So this holds a wallet if it's very small, and barely my phone, which I'm using to record right now, so I can't demo it. But it's a good size bag for like your basics, your little essentials. I'm gonna run around town and look like I have a cat strapped to me. It does have a secondary little coin pocket, maybe for your keys, your AirPods, your chapstick, I don't know, which I lined with cat food can fabric, which I don't think you can see from there, but just trust me, it's cute. Hopefully I'm going to be doing some video magic so you can see some of these close-ups while I'm blabbing about them. But this was a fun, cute project, and the yarn, right, this is the grayest gray tabby I've ever seen. Allie did an amazing job dyeing these to look like cats, and I have minimum one more design for this series, possibly more. I have the ability to make this just the head of the cat, just the face, a little pouch. The pattern is very easy to accommodate that, so I'm probably going to write that up as like a bonus for this larger pattern of like, oh, if you just want this as a little zippy pouch, here's how to do that. So that's kind of like 1.5 patterns. And then I have a larger tote bag that I have, again, designed in my brain, and my creative director has designed 2 other purses that she is very convinced that I should also create, but we will see. Again, the making the plans and then executing on them are 2 totally different activities. So cute though, right? It turned out adorable. That is a long-winded update from me. And I want to hear what you're working on. So I forgot. There was more that I got at Sheep and Wool. I got a bunch of mini skeins from Bumblebee Acres, which I have already used in swatching a super secret design that may or may not come out. I've submitted it to a publication for consideration for one of their publications next year. And with that process means that I can't show any whips, any process photos, any inspo photos until that comes out, which is different than how I've worked in the past, right? I usually work very much in public of showing things in progress, which I don't mind this departure from it, but it does make me a little nervous because normally I will test proof of concept by sharing it in the Discord, posting on social, a sketch or an idea or a mock-up I've made of something and see what people's reactions are. Or I have, my few close friends that I'll send images to as I'm working on something, or hey, what do you think of this insane idea? To get some feedback. But developing a whole artistic concept, including a swatch, including sketches, including potential charts and yardages and all of that work that I usually do after I've said, hey world, would you like this to exist? Doing all that work before anyone has said that they want it to exist is kind of stressful. It's different. So instead of just asking the public at large if they want to see a design come to fruition, I'm asking a small group of people privately that I've never met before that are in charge of a publication. Hey, would you like to see this exist? And I did it twice this year already, and it was really interesting. One of which was there was a themed call, and this will be coming out soon. There was a themed call, and you could submit anything that was already designed, and it was okay if it had been shared other places or whatever. You could be selling it currently, it didn't matter. So that was like a more like a curated editorial situation. The other one was more similar to this, pitching designs that didn't exist yet. And the pitching designs that didn't exist yet, I did enjoy that process, but I got very stressed when it came time to like actually knit it, having only done swatches and being like, well, let's hope it's not ugly. That was scary. So I decided that was scary. Let's do it 2 more times. So I'm waiting to hear back from those. But those mini skeins I got swatched up one of those projects. That probably won't be the final yarn if it gets accepted. No idea. That TBD on that. I got those mini skeins, and I also got 2 skeins of delicious yarn from Utopia. Pictures here. Now these are, if you've made it this far, what I was thinking to do the stripes in on that zippy, sweatery, varsity raglan rugby stripe top that I was envisioning early on in this vlog. So that, I love those 2 colors, and I did pick them out with the idea of striping them together with something in between them. So like having a third main color in between. And I haven't laid them out yet with that golden color to see how they all play together. But I have a fairly good feeling that they would be cute and cool and interesting. And I don't know, please help me out. Come in the comments and tell me Team Cables, Team Stripey, Rugby, Zippy, whatever I'm imagining. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for making it this far. If you're feeling also like you want to do some stash busting, or you just want to hang out with some of the coolest fiber people on the internet, join the Discord. It's free to join. There's a link down in the description. You can also get updates for free over on Patreon. That is a lovely place to make sure that you get any updates from me direct to your inbox or notifications on the Patreon app versus the internet on Instagram, social media, wherever else, and hoping and praying that my content shows up to you. Patreon is a way to make sure that when I have an update about a new pattern or I'm releasing something, you're gonna get notified right away. And also, oh my God, how could I forget to mention, CouleeCraft has a new website, CouleeCraft.com. It's fun, it's cute. I am out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you as always for spending your crafty time with me. And I'll catch you next time. Stay crafty.